Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So we welcome all of you for part 2, session 2 of building relationships and dealing with distresses in our life. We're really grateful to all of you, especially early birds coming on time, actually on-time birds, not early birds. Really grateful. Thank you so much. And let's also thank His Grace I had great privilege today to take him to Brooklyn Temple, Bhakti Center, Tompkins Square Park. We went to Washington Square Park. It was such an enlivening experience with him to see how he was able to actually connect to Srila Prabhupada's places. And he saw the mad rush of New York City. It took us half an hour just to get into the Lincoln Tunnel. We were really blessed to have Prabhuji with us. It's very emotional for many of us because we haven't met him in many years and he's first time personally blessing us. So let's welcome from the core of our hearts by chanting 3 times Hari Bol. Welcome our dear Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatariणे Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome back, all the devotees, for the second session on developing friendly relationships with devotees, and also I was told to speak on tackling distresses. So we'll discuss. I offer my obeisances to all the devotees here, and with your blessings, let me try to meditate on this topic. Yesterday we have discussed in our session that Krishna is the object of all relationships. He is Akhila Rasamrita Murti, and he is the object of affection for devotees who love him in different moods. We saw different rasas: Sakhya rasa, Vatsalya rasa, Madhurya rasa, Dasya rasa. And Krishna can reciprocate with different devotees in different moods. So, as his fragmental parts, we also have a tendency to derive pleasure in loving relationships. And we cannot stay alone. We cannot live a life of seclusion. We cannot rejoice being alone forever. Yeah, you may have your space, some time for yourself. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 day, 2 days. But how long you will live alone like that? You cannot. So we need relationships. And a devotee is inclined to have loving relationships with every single living being, because everybody is a child of God. Devotee doesn't hate anyone, doesn't hold any grudge or negativity towards anyone. However, when a materialistic person has very poor mentality, acknowledging the conditioned soul's materialistic mentality, we may have to maintain safe distance from that person. Asat sangatyaga yai Vaishnava achar. Although a devotee is inclined to have loving relationships and friendships with all living beings considering their spiritual nature, still a devotee keeps oneself in the company of other like-minded devotees, because such association is favorable for one's advancement in bhakti. But a devotee also consciously avoids associating with materialistic people, because such association is unfavorable for advancement in bhakti. Okay. So, and we also discussed, quoting Kunti Maharani's example, that a devotee tries to spiritualize material relationships. So we may connect with other people with body in the center. Oh, these are my biological relations. I have a family relationship with this person as wife, husband, mother, father, brother, sister, etc., etc. Yeah, relationship could begin like that. Or you may come from the same geographical location, or you may come from the same college, same country, same state, same mother tongue. Yeah, but more sustainable relationships are based on Krishna, Krishna-centered relationships. So we established that importance of cultivating relationships, and we also discussed examples from Prachetas and many other episodes from Bhagavatam, uh, and made this point that it's important to have loving relationships with other devotees, and thus we'll please the Lord. Now, what is the key for Vaishnava relationships and friendships? I'll discuss only for a few minutes. We can elaborate on it for next couple of hours, but we also have to discuss something about the tackling distresses part. So I'll discuss some keys to develop good relationships with other devotees in 15-20 minutes. Yesterday we were quoting this shloka from Upadeshamrita. Dadati pratigrihnati guhyamakhyati pritchati bhunkte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam. Exchanging gifts. You offer a gift to your friend and he gives a gift, you accept this gift. Okay. So that is dadati pratigrihnati. Guhyamakhyati pritchati. You share your heart and the friend also shares his or her heart. Then bhunkte bhojayate chaiva. You feed prasadam and you accept prasadam from them. So like that, you develop nice relationships. Okay. These are some keys. But to go a little deeper, relationships flourish when we interact with selflessness. What strains a relationship is selfishness. When we are very selfish in our attitude, in our dealings, when we are too self-centric, when we are thinking about our own welfare, our own comfort, even at the cost of causing inconvenience to your fellow devotee, how can there be a good bonding? How can there be good relationship? So some sacrificing spirit, some selflessness is required to sustain relationships. When we are self-centric and self-obsessed, we cannot have good relationships. Okay. So first we need to understand that let me love this person. In reciprocation, the other person will love. And even if the other person doesn't love, you continue to love. That is Vaishnava Achar. Only if that person deals with me properly, then I will deal with him. First you begin. So we need to take an initiative to build a good relationship with others. Not that we keep on expecting favors from others, okay, and not do much for them from our side. So we need to extend a helping hand when another devotee is in need. That makes good relationship. All the devotees know so much of philosophy. What touches their heart is a warm greeting, uh, a, uh, a genuine affectionate gesture, empathy, sympathy. When another devotee is in some trouble, you can go and try to pacify and help them. Even if you cannot practically help them, the very fact that you are spending some time with them, hearing their problem and empathizing with them, sympathizing with them, that will keep your relationship. Okay. So how many of you felt nourished when another devotee genuinely thought about your welfare and spent some time with you? Although they are not practically helping you because of their inability or some other circumstance, still when they kind of become sympathetic to you, empathize with you, spend some time and remain as genuine well-wishers, that naturally nourishes relationships, right? So we need to be genuine well-wishers of other devotees. When there is genuinity in our heart, naturally devotees get attracted to us. Another important quality that we need to develop is non-enviousness. When another devotee is flourishing in Krishna consciousness or getting more and more opportunities to serve Krishna, Guru and Vaishnavas nicely, or understanding Shastra nicely and preaching nicely, or singing very nicely, or playing musical instruments like mridanga, kartal, harmonium nicely, are we rejoicing their success or are we becoming uncomfortable? If we become uncomfortable seeing the success of another devotee, we cannot make relationship. Okay. So Vaishnavas, one of the qualities of Vaishnavas is to be non-envious. When there is envy in the heart, when there is jealousy in the heart, we cannot have cordial, loving relationships. As simple as that. So what strangles a relationship is envy. Many other factors, but envy is one very, very important element. We need to genuinely rejoice the spiritual success of our fellow devotees. You know what Kunti Maharani says in her prayers? Shrinvanti gayanti grinantya bhikshnashaha smaranti nandanti tavehitam janaha tayeva pashyantya chirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padambujam. Shrinvanti means a devotee hears. Gayanti, a devotee sings the glories of the Lord. Grananti abhikshnasaha, he constantly tries to apply the teachings of the Lord and accepts the process of bhakti and aligns one's moods and deeds in accordance with the scriptural teachings. That's great. But the next line is more important here in our current context. Shrinvanti gayanti grananti abhikshnasaha smaranti, he remembers the Lord. Nandanti tava ihitam janaha, means a devotee takes pleasure when other devotees are glorifying Krishna. Not that I only have to glorify Krishna, Gayanti. Not that I only have to lead the Maharati Kirtan during Janmashtami festival. Not that I only have to make all announcements in the mic. So not that I only have to lead the show, instruct, manage the show. That's fine. We have to do it, all the services, right? But when another devotee is taking good responsibilities in Krishna consciousness and becoming successful, when another devotee is glorifying Krishna so nicely through singing or speaking, we should take pleasure in it. When we genuinely take pleasure in the successful service done by other devotees, we can build wonderful relationships. But when we become uncomfortable, envious, jealous, intolerant, seeing another devotee doing well in bhakti, Krishna will not be happy. So we should give up envy. Why there is envy? Because I have something and our Ram Prabhu has something which I don't have. Then I envy him. Okay. Or he is something which I am not. Then I envy him. But if you just analyze this point, he has something which I don't have and I'm envying him. Means having that object with him, having that privilege with him is great, right? I'm appreciating that. Because I don't have it, I'm feeling uncomfortable. But I'm actually appreciating that privilege or position of having what he has. What does it mean? It is actually appreciation, not envy. Envy is indirect appreciation of another person's greatness. When I'm unable to tolerate another person's greatness, I'm actually appreciating this person's greatness. I also have to be like that. Why I'm not like that? If you just convert your envy into appreciation, relationships will become very nourishing. Makes sense? Envy is self-envy. An envious person may want to harm another person, but before he harms the other person, he himself has harmed himself. We have killed our own peace. So when we have envy towards other devotees, we cannot have relationships. Another thing that strangles our relationships is pride. When I am able to do something better than others, say my singing is good, or my speaking is good, my managing is good, or my DT worship is good, or my book distribution is great, or I do something better than others. That should not induce pride in us. We should understand that whatever we are doing is only by Krishna's grace, Guru's grace, Vaishnava's grace, Vaishnava's support. Why should I become proud? The other day I was speaking how to act as instrument in Krishna consciousness. Yesterday also we began with that, right? We are all just instruments in Krishna's hands. Our accomplishments and our achievements are not our achievements. It is Krishna who wanted that to happen, and he used us as a tool in his hands. Okay. So when we have this consciousness, we will not be proud of our accomplishments. We will only be happy that we got an opportunity to render some service to Krishna. So when we convert that pride into happiness, when we convert that pride into gratitude, say I'm in this great position, for example, I'm become proud of my position. Okay. But instead of becoming proud there, please look back. You were here at some point. Now you are here, but you were here earlier. Who brought you here? There are so many people who assisted you, supported you, helped you. There are teachers, parents, other devotees. So many people pulled us from this position to this position. So when I come to this position, instead of becoming proud, I should become happy. I should become grateful. I should be happy that I have got an opportunity to render some service. I should be grateful that so many people helped me to come to this level. So convert pride into happiness, convert pride into gratitude, and convert envy into appreciation. Okay. So instead of becoming proud, if we humbly express gratitude to other devotees and acknowledge other devotees' contributions to our spiritual lives, we can have wonderful relationships. Give up pride, give up envy. Be humble and be grateful and appreciate other devotees for whatever they have done. So whether they are contributing in a small way or in a big way, let us try to acknowledge their contributions, genuine contributions. Different people have different capacities to serve the Lord. A squirrel can only throw some pebbles and some little stones and sand particles for the construction of Ram Setu. But Hanumanji can bring big, big boulders, big, big mountain peaks. But Ram is equally pleased because both are serving the Lord to the best of their capacities. We don't have to be the best. We should do our best in Krishna's service, and we should appreciate anyone who is doing his or her best, isn't it? Then we can have good relationships. But when we become proud of our accomplishments and when we become envious of another person's accomplishments, where is the question of good relationships? Sometimes we may hold grudge or envy within, and externally you start appreciating the person. Prabhu, you're super, you're amazing. But why is he super? Why is he amazing? Why am I not amazing? Right? So we may think that we have successfully hidden our envy towards another devotee and externally smiling. But time will reveal our inner emotions. We cannot hide our envy for longer time. We cannot hide our pride for longer time. Devotees are not foolish. They get the vibes. Okay. When we are envious, our envious vibrations will be caught by them. Sooner or later. It may take some time. Krishna will expose our anarthas very soon. Before that, let us be humble and try to eliminate, relinquish, subdue, and destroy those anarthas. Okay. Let's have genuinity in our interactions. When we are too diplomatic, duplicitous, hypocritic in our dealings with other devotees, where is the question of relationships? When we are very plain-hearted, simple-hearted, and straightforward in our dealings, then empathetic and sympathetic, then there is possibility of good relationships. So, to bring the whole discussion to an end, one very, very important element in our interactions with other devotees is speech. Our interactions are happening through our words, through speech. How long we interact with other devotees through expressions? So if we keep on giving expressions only, mute, not much interaction can happen, right? For a few moments, it's fine. But we speak, right? We interact with other devotees using our tongue, using our speech. The more carefully we use our speech, the more refined will be our relationships. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Anudvegakaram vakyam, you also say, Satyam priyahitam chayat, Swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva, Vangmayam tapa uchyate. Anudvegakaram vakyam. Don't speak in an agitating tone. Don't agitate other people when you're speaking. Okay. Satyam, speak truth. But priyahitam chayat, speak truth like a well-wisher. Sometimes in the name of speaking truth, people may communicate the truth in a very harsh manner, in a very rough manner, in a very crude manner. What is the point of speaking truth? Better to speak a lie or better to keep quiet? Instead of speaking truth in such a harsh manner to break the hearts and kill the inspiration of other devotee and discourage them, demean them, disappoint them, and make them devastated, better keep quiet. Better communicate with expressions only. Don't use your speech. So when we use our speech in a very judicious way, in a wise way, in an empathetic and sympathetic way, in a well-wishing way, priyahitam chayat, then we will be able to make good relationships. But if our speech is very harsh and rude and rough, it's very difficult. But Krishna, who said this in Bhagavad Gita, in the later chapters, how did he begin speaking to Arjuna? Klaibyam masmaga mahapartha naitatvayi upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvottishta parantapa. Krishna began his speech by scolding Arjuna. Do you remember this? So you see, acting against his own teaching, anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam sayat. In the later chapter, 17th chapter, he says, be sober, be gentle, don't agitate people, speak in a very, very soft and gentle manner. But here, klaibyam masmaga mahapartha, kshudram hridaya daurbalyam. Where has this impotency come upon you? This will not lead to any upper planets. It will not lead to your success or fame. It will lead to your infamy. Get up, fight. So he was chastising. So, anudvegakaram vakyam star, conditions apply. Right? What is that condition that is applying? If you're a mother, if you're a father, you have the right to chastise the child. If the child is mischievous. Children, I'm sorry. Right? So, because by default, priyahitam is involved here. Right? By default, parents are well-wishers of children. Sometimes to correct the child, for the welfare of the child, if the parents become little strong in their communication, that's bona fide, that's authorized. A teacher may pull the ear of a student just so that the student will learn the subject matter. By default, these teachers and parents are well-wishers, are supposed to be well-wishers. We are not speaking about parents like Hiranyakashipu. We are not speaking about teachers like Shanda and Amarka. We are speaking about good teachers and good parents. Okay. So by default, they are well-wishers of the students or children. So they can speak little harshly just to bring a positive transformation in people. Right. To that degree, sometimes agitating speech may be required. Udvegakaram vakyam chalta hai in such circles. Right. But in all general interactions, we should be anudvegakaram vakyam. A guru can chastise a disciple if required, right? But in all other circumstances, our speech has to be gentle. When we speak properly, gently, with a well-wishing intent, just to encourage other person, not to disgrace and demean the other person, then we can make good relationships. But when we slip our tongue, my God, it could break the relationship permanently. Relationships are like earthen pots. You know, earthen pots. If you don't handle them with care, the pot will break. Okay. If a steel cup falls down, it will only make sound. But uh, if a earthen pot breaks, it will become, a earthen pot falls down, it will break into small pieces, right? It's very difficult to repair it and reuse it. Even if you happen to bring all the pieces together and then put some Fevicol or Feviquick or some gum, some adhesive, and then bring them together, still you need to handle with extreme care. The repaired part must be handled with extreme care more than a new part, isn't it? Do you agree with this? And if that repaired part is once again mishandled, my God, you can never use it. Similarly, if we happen to hurt another devotee with some harsh words, and if the person's heart breaks, it's very difficult to join, patch up. Even if you say sorry, even if you apologize, those traces may be still there, depending on the extent of your offense. Okay. If the offense is small thing, it's okay. Small things can be tolerated and forgiven and excused, and relationship can become normal. But if something major happens and the person's heart really breaks, it's very difficult to join the pieces again. Even if you say sorry, even if you try to undo, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, once you type the document and save it, or once you cut a paragraph, once you delete a paragraph while talking to someone and save it, even if you press Control Z 100 times, the paragraph will not come. So, knowing that we cannot undo certain mistakes, we need to be cautious to avoid certain mistakes in our relationships as much as possible, as much as practical. And by the way, ignorance is not the cause of every mistake. Even in knowledge, some people do mistakes. Smoking is injurious to health. Everybody knows this. The person who is smoking also knows this. But why he smokes? Because there's an attachment. There's an attachment to that so-called pleasure that comes by doing that activity. Similarly, when you speak harshly, that will break relationships. Still, why do we speak harshly sometimes? Because of lack of self-control, because of lack of empathy, because of lack of interest in having a good relationships, lack of sufficient interest. Right? We don't value relationships sometimes. So that breaks the hearts. And there are many more things that we need to discuss, but I'll conclude here and come to the last point, which is very much relevant for tackling distresses also. But okay, let me begin with tackling distresses, but I will preserve this point at the end. We'll conclude. We'll give a common conclusion for both preserving relationships and tackling distresses. Okay. So now I'll go to the topic of tackling distresses. So distress is common. Difficulty is common for all living beings, human beings. Because we are living in this material world with material bodies, naturally there are material miseries. We encounter so many miseries. There are three types of miseries: Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidevika kleshas. Okay. So it is said that Krishna is the protector of devotees. Krishna comes to protect his devotees in various ways. And one of the purposes of his incarnation is this: Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To protect the righteous people, to punish the vicious people, and to establish dharma, Krishna comes repeatedly. Repeatedly, multiple times he comes to this world in different incarnations. So protecting devotees from difficulties is one of his agendas. Still devotees suffer. So there is a beautiful shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto. Prachetas offer this prayer. Namo namah klesha vinashanaya nirupitodara guna vayayam manovacho vega puro javaya sarvakshamargairagatatdhvane namah. Namo namah klesha vinashanaya. Oh Krishna, you are klesha vinashanaya. You destroy all kleshas. You are known as destroyer of distresses for your devotees. Nirupito daraguna vayaya. Nirupita, it has been proved that you are udara, you are extremely benevolent. Your names and your pastimes are filled with mercy. It's proved. But still devotees undergo so many difficulties. Bhishma says, Yatra dharma suto raja gada panirvirkodaraha Krishnos trigandivam chapam suhrut Krishnastato vipat. Our Bhishma is speaking to the Pandavas. Yatra dharma suto raja. Dharma suta. Who is that? Yudhishthir Maharaj. Gada panir virkodaraha. You know Gada Pani, our dear Bhima, favorite character. Ram likes Bhim. So Bhim has the strength of 10,000 elephants in one arm. You keep 10,000 elephants in one row. Bhima would punch the first one. The 10,000th elephant will fall down. Just imagine what must have happened to the first elephant, and second elephant, and third elephant. So chutney, elephants will become chutney when Bhima punches them. So that is Bhima's strength. Then Krishnostri Gandivam Chapam, our dear Arjuna is holding this Gandiva bow. Suhrit Krishna, on top of this, our Yudhishthir's dharma, Bhima's strength, and Arjuna's skill, and on top of it, Suhrit Krishna. Krishna is their direct well-wisher. Tato vipat, still they underwent a lot of difficulties. Don't you think Pandavas went through difficulties? Unlimited difficulties, hundreds of difficulties. Yesterday we were discussing, right? Vishan Mahagnehu Purushada Darshanat. Why? Even though devotees are so dedicated to Krishna consciousness, they're practicing Bhakti Yoga, still they undergo so many difficulties. So we don't have to prove that there are difficulties in the lives of devotees, even pure devotees also. And we don't have to prove that Krishna is the supreme protector. Krishna protects, right? Krishna is the protector of all devotees. Yeah. This shloka, Mukundamala Stotra says, Bhakta Paya Bhujanga Garudamani Trailokya Rakshamani Gopi Lochana Chatakam Buddhamani Saundarya Mudramani Yah Kantamani Rukmini Ghanakucha Dvandvaika Bhushamani Shreyo Deva Shikhamani Rdishatuno Gopala Chudamani Bhakta Paya Bhujanga Garudamani. The Supreme Lord shines like a blue sapphire on this golden mountain like Garuda bird. Whenever the devotees are in distress, Bhakta Paya, Bhujanga Garudamani, the Lord will mount on the back of Garuda and he descends. Trailokya Rakshamani. And he protects all his devotees in all the three planetary systems, all the three worlds. Krishna is the supreme protector. And he also promised, Ananyascinta yanto mam yejana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. He promised, I will take care of my devotees. Yogakshema. I will preserve whatever they have. I will supply whatever they lack. Krishna promised. Still there are difficulties in the lives of devotees, isn't it? You want more proofs? Krishna said that Ma shuchaha. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Don't worry. I'll protect you from all calamities. You should not worry at all. Still there are so many difficulties. Okay. We see devotees' dedication in devotional service. We see Krishna's ability to protect them and intention to protect them. Still unlimited difficulties. One explanation that we can give here is that is the nature of this material world. Even devotees undergo difficulties because that's the nature of this material world. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This is a temporary world filled with dukkhas. Okay. Now, let me tell you three categories of people who undergo difficulties, who suffer. One, first category. You know what is that? Materialistic people who are not practicing bhakti. They are karmis. Karmis suffer because of their karma. Because they perform so many sinful activities, they will suffer. Is it clear? Somebody commits sins or mistakes and they will suffer. It's very clear. Equation is clear. Because of karma, karmis suffer. Second category of people. Devotees who are practicing bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness, even they suffer. Although Brahma said, Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Karmani nirdahati. All karmas are completely vanquished. Dahati means burnt. Nirdahati means certainly they are burnt. Nishchita rupena. Karmani nirdahati kintuja bhakti bhajam. If you practice devotional service, your karma will be destroyed. One of the aspects of pure devotional service, as explained by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is klesha agni. Klesha agni means kleshas are destroyed by practicing bhakti, isn't it? Why there is klesha? Kunti Maharani says, we are revisiting Kunti's prayers. Kunti Maharani's prayers are very comprehensive. They are one of my favorite prayers in Bhagavatam. You can refer to Kunti's prayers for sweet descriptions of Krishna's qualities, for deep realizations of a devotee, and for a great emotional analysis of Krishna's qualities and Krishna's protection, and also a lot of philosophical truths and many other things. But let me quote this current shloka. Kunti Maharani says, Bhaveshmin klishyamananam avidya kama karmabhi shravana smaranarhani karishyan iti kechana. Bhavesmin klishyamananam. In this bhava, in this material existence, there are kleshas. You're able to follow? It's getting too technical, no, right? So klishyamanana means people undergo difficulties, kleshas. Why? Avidya, kama, karma bhihi. Avidya means ignorance. What ignorance? Ignorance of our own original identities as servants of Krishna. That is avidya. When we are ignorant of our identity as servants of Krishna, then what will happen? Avidya leads to kama. What is kama? Material desire. Too much of hankering to enjoy on a material plane, that is kama. Avidya leads to kama. Means ignorance leads to desire. Kama leads to karma. Karma means material activity. When you do material activity, there is material reaction, right? And that reaction is klesha, suffering. Avidya leads to kama, kama leads to karma, karma leads to klesha. Is it clear? Ignorance leads to desire. Desire leads to action. Action leads to reaction. Ignorance of our original identity as servant of Krishna will induce a material desire in us. And in our attempts to fulfill those material desires, we perform so many material activities. And those material activities will lead to material reactions called suffering. Is it clear? So to mitigate this cycle, Krishna appeared on this planet. Kunti says in the second half of the shloka. We discussed only first half. She said, Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karma bhihi shravana smaranarhani karishyan iti kechana. So Krishna came here to rejuvenate the path of bhakti headed by Shravana, Smarana, Arhani. Shravana means hearing about Krishna, Smarana, remembering Krishna, Arha means to worship Krishna. Basically, bhakti yoga. So Kunti says that there is klesha because of avidya, and bhakti will destroy that avidya and destroy that klesha. So many proofs I am giving, so many shlokas I am quoting to establish only one point. Bhakti destroys distresses, and Krishna destroys distresses. Still devotees are suffering. Why? Okay, come back to the discussion. We said three categories of people suffer. First category is Karmis suffer because of karma. Second category, practicing devotees suffer because of, I didn't say that, right? Practicing devotees also suffer. All the bhakti is supposed to destroy their suffering. So why practicing devotees suffer? Why devotees are practicing bhakti and Krishna consciousness suffer? They don't suffer because of karma. That's clear. Karmani nirdahati kintucha bhakti bhajam. Even in practice days also, it is not karma that is affecting a devotee and making the devotee suffer. Then why there is suffering? Answer is anarthas. Even while practicing sadhana bhakti, inside there are some anarthas, right? Some little lust is pending. Some traces of envy still there. Pride, greed, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsara are still there. Although Krishna can destroy karma, but the anarthas we have to work to destroy them. Of course, Krishna will help us, but we have to be endeavoring for it. So, because of the traces of lust, envy, pride, anger, greed, and illusion, we suffer. Anarthas are the cause of the suffering of a sadhaka bhakta. You want more reasons? Aparad. While practicing bhakti, we do nama aparad, right? Vaishnava aparad, seva aparad, dham aparad, guru aparad. So many aparads are there. So many offenses we may commit in our services to the deities or in our chanting, in our dealings with devotees. There is a lot of offenses that we may commit. So, because of that, there is suffering. A devotee who is practicing bhakti also suffers because of aparadhas and anarthas. Is it clear? First category, karmis. Why do they suffer? Because of karma, fruitive baggage, reactions to their past misdeeds. And why practicing devotees suffer? Anarthas and aparadhas, right? Why pure devotees suffer? They have no anarthas, right? They don't have aparadhas. Still pure devotees suffer. Why? Not for their purification, they are already pure. That's another perspective. Take reactions of others. So pure devotees sometimes suffer because of the will of the Lord. So the Lord purposefully arranges some suffering or reversals even in the lives of pure devotees, just so that their faith in the path of bhakti is announced to the whole world. Let the whole world understand how my devotee is so faithful in bhakti, so faithful towards me, despite experiencing unlimited difficulties. Just because a devotee experiences some difficulty, devotee's faith in Krishna will not get slackened. The other day we were discussing. Uttara lost her husband, Abhimanyu, in Kurukshetra war. But when Ashwathama released a Brahmastra to kill Uttara's son, Parikshit, who was growing within her womb, what did Uttara do? She ran towards Krishna. Right? Krishna, you are the only shelter. Krishna, Krishna, Mahabaho, Bhaktanam, Abhayankara, Pahi, Pahi, Mahayogin, Deva, Deva, Jagatpade, Na Anyam Tada Bhayam Pashyet, Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. You also say, Pahi, Pahi, Mahayogin, Deva, Deva, Jagatpate, Nanyam Tada Bhayam Pashyet, Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. Pahi, Pahi, Mahayogin, oh Mahayogin Krishna, oh Supreme Mystic Krishna, Pahi, Pahi, please protect me, please protect me. There is no other shelter. Deva, Deva, you are the Supreme God of all gods. Jagatpate, you are the Master of this universe. Na anyam tada bhayam pashyet. Yatra mrityu parasparam. When mrityu comes in front of you, there is no one else who can cause fearlessness except you, Krishna. So I have taken your shelter. So Uttara took shelter of Krishna. Uttara never thought, this Krishna did not protect my husband Abhimanyu. Will he protect my son? I'll not go to him. Did she say that? No. in spite of losing her husband just few days back in Kurukshetra war, she again took shelter of Krishna only. Right? So like that, we can quote unlimited such examples where pure devotees are facing reversals, facing difficulties in their lives, yet they are taking shelter in Krishna. They are not, their faith in Krishna is not getting slackened. But why? Why such faithful devotees are subjected to suffering by the Lord Himself? The answer is the Lord is experiencing rasa. Again, go back to relationships. Yesterday, we began our session with that experience of rasa, right? The Lord is experiencing rasa. What rasa? He's making his devotees suffer and he's experiencing rasa? What kind of rasa is this? You may question like that. The answer is very simple. When you eat, I often give this example. When you eat 10 sweets, we were eating yesterday, today only, Srikhand. Okay, Srikhand and Rasmalai, and afternoon some kheer. So you eat, 5, 6 sweets. Now, seventh sweet will not give you so many happiness after eating 5, 6 sweets in a row. But you eat one mirchi, okay, that's causing tears in your eyes and water in your nose, okay, and face is becoming red. Nayanam galadhashru dharaya vadanam gadgadaruddhaya gira pulakair nijitam vapu kada. By eating mirchi, all these ecstatic transformations your body is manifesting. Then somebody gives you sweet, you can relish it better, right? That is experience of rasa. When Mother Earth is experiencing so much of pain because of so many military forces overburdening her, tormenting her, following adharma, then she becomes so desperate and she takes the form of a cow, goes to Brahma. Brahma takes her to Vishnu, and then Vishnu says, Krishna is coming. And Krishna comes and reduces the burden of earth. Then Mother Earth becomes very happy. And if Krishna wants, he can relieve Mother Earth from that burden, or he can avoid that burden for Mother Earth only. He will not, if he likes, he would ensure that Mother Earth will never have any suffering only. But still, Krishna will put Mother Earth into suffering, and then he will come and relieve her from that suffering. Because in that there is some extra rasa. Extra rasa. Question? Yeah, I'm answering that. Rasa. I'll answer with a drama. Once we were doing this Ramayana drama. Jai Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Bhagwan ki Jai. Krishna. Once we were performing Ramayana drama in GV. One of our devotees, who is little stout in his personality, brahmacharis, he took the role of Ravana. He wore a black dress with a big sword in his hand. He came to kidnap Sita. Sita is another brahmachari who wore a saffron sari with a saffron uttariya on his head. Or Jai Sachinandan Prabhu, if you know him. So he was Sita, brahmachari Sita. So he is playing the role of Sita, and our Ravana brahmachari came to kidnap Sita, and he just took her hand and then taking away on a chair. That is Pushpak Viman for us. Right? Then another devotee took the role of Jatayu. He is wearing a dress. He wore a pant and a shirt which is filled with fur. Okay, and he wore a big mask that is like a vulture's face. Right, very elaborate decoration. He came like this, flying in front of Ravana. He's in white and he's in black. So now the director has planned a big fight between Ravana and Jatayu. and sword is given to Ravana, and this Jatayu devotee has some gloves with some claws at the end. So he's supposed to fight. Hari Hari, thank you. Hare Krishna. So here the fight was planned with a big background music. 5 minutes background music was put. Light is thrown on the pair, Jatayu and Ravana, and Sita is crying there. So Ravana picked up his sword and did like this. Jatayu fell down. Did not get up only. So Jatayu fell down and Jatayu did not get up, and Ravana was waiting for Jatayu to get up so that fight can continue. He looked at Jatayu. Jatayu is not in the mood of getting up only. So Ravana looked for 2-3 seconds and he took Sita and went away. And Jatayu is lying on the stage. And focus light is there on Jatayu. 5 minutes of background music. Audience did not know what to do. What's happening? Ravana went, Sita went, and Jatayu is lying there sleeping there. And director also became confused. Should I order for the next scene? No, he cannot, because the 5 minutes music is planned for it, right? Fight is supposed to happen. Because everybody knows that Jatayu will fall down and Ravana will kidnap Sita. But that is supposed to happen after 5 minutes, not now. Right in 5 seconds only, Jatayu fell down and Ravana went away. And audience are confused. There's no rasa. In that rasa, in that fighting between this Jatayu and Ravana, audience will enjoy, will relish. There are emotions involved. And the way Jatayu is losing some feathers and then his wing, the way when the wing is falling down, when it's bleeding, then audience will get emotional. Sita is screaming there and Ravana is laughing there with his 10 heads. So when such a big drama is happening in front of the devotees relish rasa. They enter deep into the emotions of the characters. But if right in the beginning title card only, if you show climax, where is the rasa? Everybody knows there's movie, hero is there, heroine is there, villain is there, and hero will kill the villain. And if you put that in the first scene, in 5 minutes, movie is over. Bye-bye. They're supposed to watch that at the end of 3 hours of show, not in the beginning. Right, Rasa? Similarly, when the Lord puts his devotees into some difficulties and he personally comes and relieves them from the difficulties, he experiences rasa, they experience rasa. Everybody knows that Krishna will ultimately protect. But before that protection, before he comes and protects in a very dramatic way, in a very rasic way, some suffering is there to enhance the flavor. When the devotee is undergoing deep suffering, so many difficulties, and then Krishna comes and relieves and then destroys all the illusions within 1 second, and that's a wonderful climax of the story. Mother always loves the child, father always loves the child, but when the child has some fever or cold or cough or diarrhea or something else, mother's attention for the child will increase, isn't it? So the child gets an opportunity to experience mother's affection in a more intensified manner in sickness. When the child is healthy and happy and playing nicely, mother may not show so much of attention. Yes, mother loves the child and she knows child is happy. He's playing and she may see the smartphone, right? He may do something else and something else. But when the child is sick, all the attention and affection of the mother is completely on the child, and then mother may keep the smartphone aside, keep everything aside, keep all other activities aside, isn't it? So the expression of love and experience of love is enhanced in a situation of suffering. Do you agree with this? So therefore, Krishna can keep pure devotees also into suffering, and he comes and relieves them from suffering so that there is a enhanced experience of rasa by both parties. Do you agree with this? Does it make sense to you? It should. Because Vishnu Thakur said like this. Bhagavatam says like this. So many pure devotees suffer because the Lord wants to demonstrate their faith. Their faith will never get slackened in spite of undergoing so many difficulties. And the Lord also wants to demonstrate that whoever you may be, there is suffering in this material world. And the Lord also wants to demonstrate that whatever may be the extent of your difficulty, I will come and relieve you from suffering. Because at the end of the day, Krishna protected all his devotees. Although he allowed them to suffer for a while, ultimately he came and relieved them from difficulties, right? So in that suffering, in that anxious state of mind, devotees' absorption in Krishna will increase. That's why Kunti Maharani is saying, Vipadaha santu taha shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yasyata punar bhava darshanam. Vipadaha santu taha shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru. Let all the calamities that have come in our life, let them come again and again. No problem. Tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yasyat. Because whenever we faced some difficulty, Krishna, you have come here to relieve us from the difficulty. Means difficulty is giving us your darshan. Taking your darshan means no more darshan of this material world. Okay. So Kunti Maharani is inviting more and more difficulties. So we need to understand that difficulty in the life of a devotee is not meant to demotivate the devotee, is not meant to discourage the devotee, is meant to increase the devotee's absorption in Krishna, increase the devotee's dependence on Krishna. So in a situation of difficulty, we become more desperate and prayerful. One devotee was flying in an airplane. Suddenly the cabin crew came and announced, there is a lot of turbulence in this airplane. We may crash at any moment. You can offer prayer to your favorite form of God. That's all. We can't say anything. And the devotee said, I chanted the most attentive round of my life on that day, at that moment. Okay? Because there is desperation. So, devotee doesn't complain or blame the Lord. Krishna, why did you give me so many difficulties? Are you kind? Are you really kind? Are you there? A devotee doesn't question the Lord like that. Devotee says, Krishna, thank you so much. In this situation of calamity, I'm connecting with you better. This difficulty is increasing my dependence on you, increasing my absorption in you. I am more Krishna conscious now than before. A materially comfortable situation can induce a sense of security and happiness and comfort in the mind of a common person and make the person forget God. Sometimes or many times. But in a situation of difficulty, we can intensify and increase our dependence on the Lord and take shelter of the Lord. So we do not hate difficulties if the difficulties are allowing us to connect with Krishna in a better way. So a devotee has the bandwidth to invite calamities also. But if we don't have the bandwidth to invite more calamities, at least whatever calamities come of their own accord, let us try to depend on Krishna. Let us try to intensify our absorption in Krishna and remembrance of Krishna and dependence on Krishna. That's what Bhagavatam is repeatedly teaching us. Chitraketu Maharaj, one little feedback he gave to Lord Shiva. Mother Parvati cursed him, my dear son, become a demon. My God. One feedback. He was concerned. Lord Shiva is sitting with Mother Parvati, sitting in his lap, in an assembly. What will common people think? They may misunderstand Lord Shiva. Just to protect Lord Shiva from that infamy, Chitraketu Maharaj just gave a feedback. Of course, there is a tinge of pride in Chitraketu Maharaj. He thought he can even give a feedback to a senior devotee also. Shiva is a senior devotee, right? So he became a little bold in his expression. So for that, Mother Parvati cursed him to become a demon. To cut the long story short, okay, I'll not speak the story. We saw Chitraketu Maharaj cursed to become a demon. Parikshit Maharaj cursed to die within 7 days. Pandavas, my God, so many difficulties in their lives. Ambarish Maharaj, he took little one drop of water. Suddenly, Durvasmuni creates a fiery demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, he was chanting Hari, 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 Hari. Hiranyakashipu tries to kill him. He made elephants trample the little boy, 5-year-old child. He threw that boy in fire. He threw the boy from mountain cliffs. He gave poison to that boy. He made his soldiers attack that little child with deadly weapons and made snakes bite him. Nothing happened to Prahalad. Ultimately, Prahalad was protected. But see, so many difficulties in Prahalad's life. Can we imagine more difficulties than what Prahalad faced in his life? Definitely not. But because Prahalad was experiencing the love of Krishna, even in that situation, he never complained. Chittam naiva nivartate kshanamapi Sri Krishna padambujan nindantu priya bandhava gurujana grihnantu munchantu va Durvadam parighoshayantu manuja vamshe kalankostu va tadrik prema dharanu madhuna mattayamanam tume. My mind will not deviate from the thought of Krishna's lotus feet even for 1 second. Chittam naiva nivartate kshanamapi Sri Krishna padambujan nindantu priya bandhava gurujana grihnantu munchantu va. Let my seniors, let my own parents and teachers criticize me. Let there be gossip about me everywhere. No problem. Why? Tadrik prema dharanu madhuna mattayamanam tume. Because I'm experiencing the love of Krishna within my heart. Because a devotee experiences Krishna's love, Krishna's mercy within the heart, even in sadhaka stage. Devotee is not perturbed or overwhelmed by difficulties. Let difficulty come. Difficulty is coming because of my own past misdeeds. Tatenu kampam susamikshabano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam hridvagvapur vidadhan namaste jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhak. A devotee understands that I am undergoing difficulties because of my own past misdeeds and Krishna sanctioned it. Krishna sanctioned the difficulties. What's my problem? And my own past misdeeds are there. Therefore, let me just experience these difficulties. I will experience. While experiencing the difficulties, I will engage my body, mind, and words in Krishna's seva. And thus, get relieved from these difficulties forever. Difficulties exist, but they don't affect a devotee like they affect ordinary people. Let me go to Vrindavan once. In Vrindavan, there are constant calamities. Putana attacked Krishna, little child, few days old baby, Putana attacked Krishna. 3 months old baby, Tranavar, who is that? Shakatasura attacked Krishna. 1 year old baby, then Trinavarta attacked Krishna. When he was a small toddler, this Yamalarjuna trees fell down. What would have happened if they fell on Krishna? All the Vrajavasis became very worried. So, considering that there are a series of calamities in Vrindavan, all the elderly members of Vrindavan community assembled for a meeting. Upananda, Ananda, and many other people, they all assembled for a meeting and they said, this Gokul Mahavan or Bhadravan, not Brahadvan, is not an appropriate place for us to live in. Let us relocate. Let's shift to Vrindavan. Why? Because so many demons are attacking, specifically Krishna and Balaram. We have to protect Krishna and Balaram. We have to protect all our children. So let's shift to Vrindavan. So that very day, they kept all their luggage in bullock carts and they all shifted to Vrindavan. By the time Krishna is little more than 3 years old, then all the elderly Gopas thought that now Krishna is 3 years old. it's a time for us to give him the charge of calves on Gopashtami day. So let him tend calves, little calves, along with other little children in the nearby forest. So as soon as they shifted to Vrindavan, they gave Krishna the charge of calves. And Krishna took these little calves and then went to the forest, nearby forest. Then a demon came there again in the form of a calf. What is his name? Vatsasur. So Vatsasur came in the form of a calf and entered the other calves. And Krishna noticed it. He told Balram. And Krishna caught the hind legs of this Vatsasur and then twirled him around like this and threw him on a kapitha tree, and all the kapitha fruits fell down and the Gopas ate them. Very soon after this, Bakasur came there. Crane demon. He came and swallowed Krishna. And many things happened. Then Brahma came, Indra came, Shiva came, Bhadrakali came, Vayu came, Agni came, all the devatas came and fought with Bakasur, tried to kill him. Nobody could do anything. And all of them left. Krishna was there in Bakasur's throat, the crane's throat. And inside the throat, Krishna increased the heat of his body. And Bakasur could not tolerate that heat. And Bakasur ejected Krishna. Krishna came out of Bakasur's mouth. And he bifurcated Bakasur's mouth, beak, and killed Bakasur. Fine. So, I spoke so many pastimes within 2-3 minutes, but there is purpose behind all this. Why did the Vrajavasis shift from Mahavan to Vrindavan? To avoid demons. To avoid the disturbances and difficulties caused by all these demons, isn't it? But as soon as they shifted to Vrindavan, 2 more demons came and attacked. Right? Did they avoid difficulties? So, can there be a devotee greater than the Vrajavasis? So, Vrajavasis are the greatest devotees of Krishna. We are talking about pure devotees, right? Pure devotees also suffer in this world. But why did pure devotees, not of the caliber of Pandavas, who are in Aishwarya mood, pure bhaktas, Kevala bhaktas like Vrajavasis also suffered so many attacks of demons in Vrindavan? Why? Because that is the nature of this material world. And from another perspective, to enhance rasa. So why demons are coming? Because all these little boys, they are so absorbed in playing. They will not stop until a demon comes. So when demon comes, Krishna has to kill the demon, and after that they will remember we have to take lunch, right? Then they will take lunch. Experience of rasa. There is one more thing. As soon as Krishna killed Bakasur and Vatsasur, all these little boys, Krishna's friends, came back to the village and reported to their parents, Nanda Maharaj, Upanand, and many other Gopas and elderly gopis. They said, you know, my dear father, what Krishna did in Vrindavan today? Krishna caught a calf demon. A demon came there in the form of a calf. Krishna twirled him around, threw him on Kapitha tree. We all got Kapitha fruits. They became so excited. They are narrating Krishna's liberating Vatsasur pastime with so much excitement. Same thing. They are narrating Bakasur's pastime with so much excitement. And all the Gopas, elderly Gopas, were hearing the narration of these little Gopas. And they became so happy hearing Krishna's pastimes. Sukadeva Goswami says, very important shloka. Iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Rama katham mudam kurvanto ramamanascha navindam bhava vedanam. Iti nandadayo gopaha Krishna Rama katham muda. In this way, all the Gopas headed by Nanda Maharaj are discussing the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram with great happiness, with great bliss, with ultimate satisfaction. Kurvanto ramamanascha. With great satisfaction, they are describing, they are hearing Krishna's pastimes. Navindan bhava vedanam. Because they are absorbed in Krishna Katha, they did not experience any difficulties. Is it clear? So, when will we protect ourselves from difficulties? When we hear Harikatha. When we absorb our minds in the glories of Krishna, then we will be unaffected by the calamities in this world. We cannot stop calamities in this world. Please understand. Our topic is tackling distresses, not avoiding distresses. Okay? Distresses will come and go. You cannot avoid them. In monsoon, can you avoid rain? You will say, Varunadev, Indradev, stop raining. Nothing will happen. So, in monsoons, rain will come. You have to take an umbrella. That umbrella is Krishna Katha. When we are protected by the umbrella of Hari Katha, then we will not be affected by the rain of miseries in this material world. So the only way to tackle distresses in this material world is to sincerely take shelter of Hari Katha and Hari Kirtan. Shri Narayana Pundarika Dayana Shri Rama Sita Pate Govinda Achyuta Nanda Nandana Mukunda Ananda Damodaram Vishnu Raghava Vasudeva Hare Devendra Chudamade Samsararnava Karna Dharaka Hare Sri Krishna Tubhyam Nama. Samsararnava Karna Dharaka Hare. Lord Hari is the Karna Dharaka, is the captain of the ship that helps us cross over this ocean of material existence. Samsara Arnava Karna Dharaka Hare Sri Krishna Tubhyam Nama. Let us take shelter of Lord Hari. Let us take shelter of Lord Hari's Nam and Lord Hari's Katha. Hari Nam and Hari Katha are the only ways to cross over this ocean of material existence that is filled with hundreds of difficulties. The way of tackling distresses is to take shelter of Harikatha. Vrajavasis were experiencing so many difficulties. Every now and then, almost every day, some demon comes and attacks. Do we have an experience of some demon coming and then picking up the little kids and then eating them or attacking them on a daily basis? You don't have such a great calamity in our life, right? Vrajavasis are having that calamity. They're sending their kids to the forest. In forest, every day one demon is coming. Attacking. Aghasur comes, Varaka, Vatsasur, Bakasur, Vyomasur, Arishtasur, Keshi. So many such demons come. But Navindan Bhava Vedanam, because they're absorbed in Harikatha, they did not experience any difficulties. They did not get affected by any difficulties. Difficulties existed. That's why right in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam it is mentioned that Dharma projita kaita votra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatraya unmulanam. One of the characteristics of Srimad Bhagavatam is to destroy the tapatrayas. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika Kleshas are the tapatrayas. These three tapatrayas, these three kinds of material miseries are destroyed by Srimad Bhagavatam. That does not mean if we read Srimad Bhagavatam, if we discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, if we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, we will not have any health problems. That does not mean we will not have any other problems in this world if we read Bhagavatam. Then what does it mean? Bhagavatam gives us the necessary wisdom to deal with difficulties in a mature manner. Bhagavatam equips our consciousness with the maturity to see misery as mercy of Krishna. Krishna, thank you so much for mercifully giving me this misery to destroy the effects of my past misdeeds, to make me more dependent on you, to make me remember you with desperation, with devotion. Maybe you must have seen that when I'm in a materially comfortable situation, I'm not remembering you properly. Thank you very much for giving me this difficulty and making me a little alert and remembering you. Okay. So Sometimes we may not understand Krishna's intentions, but we should not doubt Krishna's intentions and integrity. Can there be anyone whose intentions are more purer than Krishna's? Can anyone have integrity more than Krishna? We should not doubt Krishna's integrity or intention just because we have some difficulty in life. That the difficulty is not because of Krishna's neglect towards his devotee. Krishna never ignores his devotee. Krishna doesn't ignore even a conditioned soul also. Ishvaraha sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tisthati. Krishna stays right within the hearts of all living beings. What to speak of a devotee? But why there is difficulty in the life of a devotee? Is Krishna not there? Krishna is there not just as mere Paramatma, he's there as Bhagavan in the heart of a devotee, but still devotee suffers. Because if he's a sadhaka, there may be some anarthas, there may be some little aparats, and little purification is happening for the devotee. And if it's a pure devotee, yes, Krishna wants to show a good example to common people in this world. And Krishna also wants to experience some rasa through this whole exchange. So, by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, we are equipped with the necessary wisdom and maturity to not get overwhelmed by a difficulty, but use that difficulty, utilize that difficulty as a tool to connect with Krishna in a more intensified manner. Okay. So, discussing Harikatha is a way to deal with misery, is the most effective way to deal with misery. And taking shelter of Krishna's names is another effective way. He martya paramam hitam shrunutavo vakshyami sankshepatam samsararnava mapa durmi bahulam samyak pravishya sthitah नानाज्ञानमपास्य चेतसि नमो नारायणायेत्यमुं मन्त्रं सप्रणवं प्रणामसहितं प्रावर्तयेद्ध्वं मुहुः. Hey Martyaha Paramam Hitam Shrunutavo. Oh, human beings, please hear this most effective advice that I'm going to give you. If you don't have time, I will speak concisely. You don't worry. What is that? Please understand your situation. You are like a person drowning in the middle of an ocean. And this ocean is filled with so many waves of difficulties and sharks of anarthas. You don't know swimming. And even if you're an expert swimmer, how long will you swim across the ocean? You're in the middle of Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean. And the ocean is so vast, you're nowhere seeing an island or the shore. In which direction will you swim? Maybe you're swimming in the opposite direction, who knows? And some wave comes, you'll miss the direction. You may be going in one direction like this. Somewhere I'll find a land. Some wave comes, you'll change this direction. You may be just, rotating there only, who knows? And on top of it, some shark may come and bite us. That's our situation in this material world. Samsararnava mapa durmi bahulam samyak pravishya sthitah. You have entered deep into this ocean of material existence. Nanagnanamapasya chetasi namo narayanayetyamum. Keep aside all your concocted ideas to come out of this material existence. Come out of this ocean. Nothing will work. Oh, there may be some log there. There may be some island there. There may be somebody who is coming to rescue me. No. There is only one solution. Take boat. The boat is there right next to you. Take that boat. What is that boat? The name of the Supreme Lord. The holy name of the Supreme Lord will act as a boat to rescue us from this ocean of material existence. Let us board the boat of the holy name of Lord Hari, Lord Krishna. So Hari Katha and Hari Nam are the ways to deal with difficulties in this material world. And there is another way. Okay. The devotees, the association of devotees of Lord Hari. When we are in some difficulties, who will give us that moral support? Who will give us that solace? Who will comfort us? Who will pacify us? Who will help us internally reconcile the situation maturely? the devotees. When we are overwhelmed with a situation, the devotees will reconcile the situation and explain it to us. Although we know philosophy, we forget it. When the emotions are too high, when the difficulties are so high, we'll forget our own philosophy, although we know it. Devotees have to come and remind us. So when we always keep ourselves amidst the association of devotees and chant Harikatha and Harikirtan in their association, then we'll be safeguarded from all difficulties. So that's why several devotees, even after attaining the darshan of the Lord, they're asking for the company of like-minded devotees. So now I said that I'll give another key for building Vaishnava relationships, right? At the end. Now we are in the climax. In the last few minutes of our discussion. Oh, it's exactly 9. I'm going little extra time. Okay, last day, second day. It's exactly 9, but we'll take a few more minutes. Yesterday I was quoting in the Q&A session. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Macchitta madgata prana bodhayantaha parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Means devotees are those people who come together and discuss Harikatha. They enlighten each other. They teach each other in the glories of Krishna, in the tattva of Krishna. So this is the activity of devotees. And there is one more sloka in the 11th canto. Parasparanu kathanam pavanam bhagavadyashah mithoratihi mitha tushter nivritter mitha atmanah paraspara anukathanam pavanam bhagavadyashah. When devotees come together and mutually discuss Lord Krishna's glories, anukathanam, pavanam, that will purify them. Why? It is bhagavadyashah. Bhagavat means Krishna, yasha means his fame, his glories. Because we are discussing the glories of Lord Krishna, will be purified. Mithoratihi, mutually will develop our connection with Krishna. Mithaha tushtir, our heart will be completely satisfied. Nivrittir mitha atmanaha. And our attachment to this material existence is also destroyed by discussing Harikatha with other devotees. You know, when we are discussing Krishna Katha with other devotees, you know what will happen? So when two devotees sit together and discuss about Lord Hari, when one devotee A is speaking some pastime of Krishna with so much love and affection, devotee B gets to witness that first devotee's love for Krishna. And when the second devotee discusses Krishna's pastimes, and first devotee will get an opportunity to witness how much this second devotee loves Krishna. Thus, mutually, first devotee and second devotee both are increasing their appreciation for Krishna, and they are increasing their appreciation for each other. Their hearts are also coming closer to each other. Okay. We discussed that discussing Krishna Katha will help us not to get affected by the difficulties in this world. And now we are saying that discussing Harikatha will bring us closer to Krishna also. Jai Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Bhagavan ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maya ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, we discussed that discussing Krishna Katha with other devotees will enhance our appreciation for Krishna, and it will also bring us closer to each other. You appreciate another devotee, and other devotee will appreciate you for your love for Krishna. That you love Krishna and you are expressing it in your words, and he loves Krishna and he is expressing in his words. So thus you develop appreciation for each other also. We are going towards Krishna like this, and we are going towards Krishna like this. While we are coming closer, we are coming closer to Krishna. We are coming closer to each other, and together we are going closer to Krishna. Right? So, in the company of devotees, if we discuss Krishna Katha, our hearts will be bound with love for each other. our love for Krishna is enhanced, and we will get that strength to fight with difficulties, to not get so overwhelmed or over affected by difficulties. So they will give us that emotional support. They will give us that moral support. They will help us philosophically reconcile things. Okay. So thus, when we discuss Krishna's pastimes and chant the holy names of Krishna with other devotees, our relationships will be more nourishing. Now, to conclude, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami, as soon as he took birth, he ran away. He went away from his father. And the father was calling him, "My dear son, please come back, please come back." He was not coming. What did the father do? Vyasadeva. He told some of his disciples to go in front of Sukadeva Goswami and speak some shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Sukadeva Goswami heard these Bhagavatam shlokas from the disciples of Vyasadeva, and he became so attracted to that personality who is being described in the shlokas. And he came back to his father. "My dear father, teach me more shlokas. Teach me the full book. They chanted a couple of shlokas from your book. I want to hear the whole book." I became so attracted to the qualities of the person whom you are glorifying in that book. So then Vyasadeva happily taught Bhagavatam to his son Sukadeva Goswami. Harer gunakshipta matihi Bhagavan Badarayani Adhyagan Mahadakhyanam Nityam Vishnu Janapriyah. Harer guna akshipta matihi. By hearing just few shlokas from Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami's mind became so captivated in the qualities of Lord Hari. Harer guna akshipta matihi. And because of that little attraction that he had towards Krishna's qualities, he came back and studied Bhagavatam completely under Vyasadeva. Then you know what happened? Adhyagan Mahadakhyanam, because he did Adhyayan of this Mahadakhyanam Bhagavatam, Nityam Vishnu Janapriyaha. He became very dear to all the devotees, and all the devotees became very dear to him. You got this point? This is the conclusion of today's session. Nityam Vishnu Janapriyaha. How did Sukadeva Goswami become dear to all Vishnu Janas? Vishnu Janas means devotees. Sukadeva Goswami became very dear to devotees, and devotees became very dear to Sukadeva Goswami because Sukadeva Goswami's mind is absorbed in the qualities of Lord Hari by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Similarly, when we also hear Srimad Bhagavatam, discuss Srimad Bhagavatam with other devotees, our love for Krishna will increase, and our relationships with other devotees also will be very nourishing and relishable. Nityam Vishnu Janapriya. You want to become dear to other devotees? You want to love other devotees? Discuss Bhagavatam. Discuss Krishna's pastimes. Right? Sit with them. And Krishna Katha need not be restricted only to mic with 200-300 people sitting in front of you or on a Zoom class with 500 or 400 registrations joining the call, or you don't need a YouTube channel, you don't need mic. All this can be done, of course, no problem. You can do all that. But let us try to bring in the culture of discussing about Krishna even in our private, personal, casual, informal conversations with other devotees. That's an effective way of enhancing our Krishna consciousness and also fighting back with difficulties and gaining the strength to endure all kinds of difficulties and develop love for Krishna. Okay. So that is the key. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions should we take? It's late. 9:08. Your question is answered, Ram? Your question is answered? Yes, Keshav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, many times it happens such that we just do not know the devotee's heart of how to please them. You just answered the question that we can recite Bhagavatam with each other, but sometimes we feel that we might have offended them. We may not know. We might have offended them. We may not know what offense did we commit. Still, how to please the devotee? We do not know what offense have we committed.
Okay.
And we feel that the devotee is displeased with us.
Okay.
But we still want to go ahead and please that devotee.
See, when we are very sincere in our dealings with devotees, we will be very careful to avoid offenses to devotees. But when we happen to commit some offenses unknowingly, then if we are sincere, Krishna will reveal it to us. Yes, so and so devotee is hurt because of you. Go and say sorry. Let me go. Right? That sincerity will make one introspect on one's own actions. Then sooner or later, one will understand what went wrong and he will go and rectify that mistake. Right? Introspection. Honest introspection will reveal things to us. Vyasadeva wrote so many books which are not up to the mark in the sense that they are not on the level of Srimad Bhagavatam in terms of glorifying Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela vividly and repeatedly, right? So he sat and introspected. What went wrong? What went wrong? Then he understood, oh, maybe I did not sufficiently glorify Krishna and Bhakti Yoga. That's why I'm feeling despondent, incomplete. Okay. Then Narada Muni came and reconfirmed it. Then he wrote Bhagavatam. So honest introspection, not an introspection that is loaded with a tendency to justify one's own activities. Yeah, of course, mera kuch galti nahi tha. In that lines, if you introspect, I will never improve. Even I could be wrong. With that thought, if you introspect, then our mistakes will be revealed to us. Then there is a possibility that we rectify those mistakes. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu. Yashoda Dalal.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Such a wonderful 2 days. I wish it is not going to end. Sometimes, when we get offended, we might actually, by devotee acts, we might actually in our mind completely blank out their good qualities and just focus on their bad qualities. No, absolutely impossible that this devotee has any good qualities at all, right? That's very dangerous to our own spiritual life. How do we avoid that?
The question has the answer also. We should try to focus on their positive side. But when we are unable to see any good in them because we are getting too overwhelmed by the negative quality in them, or what they said or what they did hurt us in some way, therefore we are unable to see positivity in them, then we should take assistance from other devotees. We should reveal our heart to another devotee who is not hurt by the other one, who is mature, who is a well-wisher, who is balanced, who is unbiased. If you go to such a devotee and the devotee will just remove all the confusions or illusions or negativity in our minds by revealing the positive side of the devotee and doing whatever is needful to help us, right? Yes, when someone hurts us, and if that is too deep, we may not be able to handle it immediately. It will take a while, but sooner or later we can recover if we reveal the heart to another devotee, another mature devotee. They will help us reconcile the situation better. That's the power of relationships. When we have good relationships with at least some devotees who are mature, then they will help us when we are too bewildered and too confused, when we are overloaded with negativity in the heart towards another devotee. Make sense, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Any other question?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
You mentioned as a father, mother, or guru can chastise, has the rights to
privilege.
chastise or being a little harsh at some times to correct. What I'm experiencing that many times in between devotees, the offenses come upon because we self-proclaimed ourselves as gurus of others. And in that guruship mood, we comment many times in harsh way. We give feedback in harsh way, thinking I'm guru, I'm senior, I'm there for many years. How you maneuver and monitor yourself that you don't self-proclaimed guru and you don't act in that capacity?
To humbly remind ourselves as menial servants of Krishna and instruments in Krishna's hands. We need to remember our positions as servants of Krishna and instruments in Krishna's hands. Then we don't take too much credit for our accomplishments or our seniority. We become grateful to Krishna and all the other devotees who helped us to come to that position. So, as you said, like sometimes because of seniority, one may start chastising the younger ones. Because of having more experience on the path, one may kind of instruct or chastise or scold a person who is little lesser experienced. So all this happens because one identifies oneself as superior to other person. Somebody asked Prabhupada, so you are the guru of everyone? Prabhupada said, I am everyone's servant. So that consciousness has to be always maintained. I am not guru, I am servant. Not only servant of Krishna, servant of the person whom I am acting as guru also. Even if I act as guru. Even if I happen to act as guru on Krishna's behalf. So we need to be grounded. We need to be rooted in our position as servants. Servants of those who are taking guidance from us also. I am doing this service of giving you this advice, giving this instruction, and giving you this service. That is, somebody's service is to do the service. Somebody's service is to allocate service to others. That is also service. Right? So, actually, one senior devotee told this to me long back when I joined ashram, some 13, 14 years back. He said, I should think that I am supposed to do all this service. If someone comes to help me, I'm grateful. If he's not there, I'm supposed to do this. If he's coming, I got some assistance. So like that, Guru also becomes grateful to the disciple. Not that the disciple expects gratitude from Guru. I'm speaking from the Guru's side. So Guru also becomes grateful to the disciple. What did Prabhupada say? If there is any credit for my translation work, that goes to my Guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and it also goes to my American disciples who helped me in typing, editing, proofreading, and publishing these books. He gave all the credit to his disciples. Okay, so Guru is one who would not just take advantage of the disciples' obedience and then extracts service from them. But Guru is one, as a sincere well-wisher of the disciple, engages the disciple in appropriate services, ultimately to bring them closer to Krishna. Right? So when somebody is in a senior position where he can instruct 10 other people, that has to be done in the mood of a servant, not as a superior. And not allow that pride or superiority complex to enter one's head, but act as a representative of Krishna, not a replacement for Krishna. Act in instrument consciousness, not accomplishment consciousness. Because I'm more accomplished than this person, I'm authorized to chastise this person. Right? One should not identify oneself overly with one's accomplishments or achievements, but one should understand that these are happening only by Krishna's grace, and I'm an instrument. And I'm fortunate to be an instrument in Krishna's hands, although I'm not qualified. Because when we think we are doing things, the doership mentality leads to enjoyership mentality. When I think I'm the doer, naturally I'll think I'm the enjoyer. When I think I'm an enjoyer, I naturally think that I'm entitled for certain respect and treatment and certain privileges. They're supposed to treat me like this. Okay. That kills all gratitude. So the more we remind ourselves that we are humble, menial servants of Krishna and Guru and Parampara, the more we deal with even younger ones with respect, with dignity, and acknowledge them for what they are and for what they are doing. Okay. Does it make sense? Sorry, you know much better. I just spoke whatever a little bit I know. Sorry if I said anything beyond my scope. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Any question from Matajis? All Prabhus are asking, we should not. Yes, but we can ask. Mike is there with you. We'll take the next.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your enlightening class. My question was, Prabhuji, when we were talking about tackling distress, in my personal life, I've seen there are certain distresses which are very easy to tackle. So we can easily say Tatenu Kampa, and we say, I'm applying it already. There are certain distresses which are challenging, and it after some effort taking shelter of Krishna, it pushes us to take shelter of Krishna. It's after that you can, you basically become Krishna conscious. And there are certain distresses which feels like torture, which sometimes through service only. So it becomes so overwhelming that it is not making us Krishna conscious, rather it's increasing hatred. It is increasing more detestful nature. I'm talking about services only. So then what to do in those situations? Because sometimes I feel those challenges were not at my level to handle. So taking shelter of Krishna was beyond my scope.
Sometimes the situation goes beyond our control. When situation goes beyond our control, we just have to surrender to the situation. We cannot rectify it. We cannot adjust the circumstances. We can't do much. COVID came. It's beyond the scope of anyone to rectify. Entire world was in lockdown for a couple of years, on and off. Everyone is trying their best to come out. But what did they do? Ultimately surrender to the situation. Do the needful there. Okay. So as you said, some difficulties are easy to handle, but some are like too much to handle. So do you have any other option other than enduring it, undergoing it, facing it? If you have an option, yes, have a negotiation. So if you are having some difficulty in executing some service, it's getting too much for you, you can go to the senior devotee who has allocated that service and express the difficulty and ask, is there any possibility of changing the service or giving some help and support to do this service? You can just request for that, right? Even if they may not be able to offer a practical help because of the circumstances, the very fact that you express your heart, express your difficulty in front of another devotee, that calms you down, that relieves us from agitation, right? Situation will continue. At the max, what will happen? We may not be able to do that service properly, right? This performance may not be there. You may just do a mediocre performance. Nothing more than that, right? So when situation is beyond our control, surrender to the situation and try to Try to address it to the best of your human ability. Take support from other devotees. Still, if it is going beyond our capacity, just surrender. What else can we do? Krishna, this is what I could do in this situation. This is the best. So, with all his power and intelligence, Vasudeva tried to negotiate with Kamsa to protect Devaki. He tried his best. He spoke, he did use Sama, Dana, Bheda, so many things. Except Danda, he used all other techniques. Because he knows he cannot fight with Kamsa anyways. So finally he said, I have to protect Devaki, right? Let me protect her first. Forget her sons. He said, Kamsa, Akashvani did not say that Devaki will kill you. Devaki's 8th son will kill you. So I will give all her children to you. You do whatever you want, but now don't kill her. Then Kamsa said, yes, this makes sense. And on top of it, Vasudeva is truthful. I can trust him. He promised that he will give his children to me. So he will give. So Kamsa left Devaki. So he could protect Devaki. Vasudeva, with all his abilities, he could protect Devaki, but he could not protect her children. Surrender to the situation. Getting right? So you may not be able to accomplish completely. You may accomplish only a little bit. That's okay, no problem. Krishna's will is there behind. Krishna is seeing. Krishna is seeing our heart. How much effort are we putting to address the situation? If we don't do anything, if Vasudeva says, Kamsa is killing Devaki, okay, let him kill. It's all Krishna's will. Let me surrender to the situation. I'll marry another wife. He's not thinking like that. With all his abilities, he tried to protect Devaki. Despite doing all that, if it's going beyond his control, what can he do? Right? So do your best and leave the rest to Krishna to deal with. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. I have a silly question, maybe. You said that suffering and difficulties increase Krishna's rasa between his devotees, correct? So
For pure devotees.
pure devotees, correct. Does it mean that in the spiritual world, suffering and difficulties still exist?
Very good question. In the spiritual world, quote unquote, suffering exists. Pain exists. That's the pain of separation from Krishna, which is also a bliss. On a material plane, suffering is suffering. Happiness is also suffering, just that we don't realize it. On the spiritual plane, happiness is happiness. Suffering is also happiness. And they realize it. Right? So, on the spiritual plane also, pain exists in the form of separation from Krishna. And love is experienced in both ways, in the form of joy of union and pain of separation from Krishna. In that sense, pain exists there. But it is a blissful pain. And that pain of separation from Krishna enhances the sweetness of union with Krishna. When the devotees get to meet with Krishna again, after a period of separation, that's more exciting. When Krishna is continuously with a devotee, yes, that's happiness, definitely. But when Krishna leaves the devotee for a moment, for maybe 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, or 1 day, and then he comes back, wow, the acceptance is different. Rasa. That is rasa. Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Does it answer the question? Okay. Any other question, comment, realizations?
Hare Krishna. Thank you for expanding my knowledge today. I have 2 questions. My first question is, if Krishna destroys all karmas, then why karmaniya vadhika raste? That is question number 1.
I didn't get the question. Can you explain the question?
Krishna destroys all karmas, then why karmaniya vadhika raste? Mahafaleshu kadachan. And my second question is, what is
Let's discuss the first question first,
Okay.
one by one. The word karma has multiple meanings. Karma basically means action, right? Karma can also mean reaction to an action. Karma can also mean fruitive action. Fruitive action means You perform an action specifically to enjoy its fruits, enjoy its result, fruitive action. Karma can also mean prescribed action. Means that which is prescribed for you according to your situation. Kshatriya's prescribed karma is this. Brahmana's prescribed karma is this. Teacher's prescribed karma is this. A doctor's prescribed karma is this. So prescribed action. And karma can also mean the whole chain of actions and reactions. When Krishna said karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, first karma is action, second karma is reaction. Karmanyeva adhikaraste, you have the right to perform your prescribed action. Ma phaleshu kadachana, this phala is also karma. You have no control over the results. Clear? When Krishna said, I will destroy karma, means you surrender unto me. You perform all your karmas, means actions as an offering to me, then I will protect you from karma, reactions. If you do your karma for my sake, I will destroy your karma. Means if you perform actions for my sake, I will destroy all reactions. Clear?
To me, karma means thought.
Karma means?
Even a thought is a karma.
Okay.
Because with the thought, all the chain starts, like action, reaction, and everything else. Anyway, my second question is, what is the difference between Krishna and spirit soul?
What is the difference between Krishna and spirit soul? Krishna is like a fire. Spirit soul is like a spark of fire. Qualitatively, both are same. Right? Fire's quality is to produce heat and light. And fire spark also can produce heat and light. Right? So Krishna is infinite and we are infinitesimal. Krishna is like an ocean and we are like drops of ocean. The chemical composition of ocean and that little drop, both are same qualitatively. So qualitatively, we are one with Krishna. He is spiritual, we are spiritual. He is Sachidananda, we are Sachidananda. But quantitatively, we are different. He is Vibhu, we are Anu. He is infinite, we are infinitesimal. Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So let's thank His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu by chanting 3 times Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And we request Prabhuji that if you are pleased with all of us, with our small welcoming, please come for longer, for a week. You all agree? You want? Really indebted to you for agreeing to come just for even 2 days, weekdays. So such a blessing. Most of you know that Prabhuji also he's inspiration for thousands of children all over the world, especially in the line of remembering, memorizing verses with proper pronunciation. He's training personally, he's taking his time, he gets them on the Zoom calls, they meet him in GV. So just to please him, because he's serving them so nicely, some of our children, they propose to chant chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita today here in your assembly. It will take 5 minutes, Mataji, you said. So please have our children come and chant chapter 15. Please come quickly.
Hare Krishna. As they're coming, I would like to conclude with a couple of words. I am very grateful for all the love and affection that I have received from Devaki Nandan Prabhu and all the other devotees in this New Jersey community. And I'm very, very enlivened to take darshan of Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar, such beautiful deities. And also I'm very inspired by associating with all of you last 2 days. And I sincerely seek blessings from all of you for my continued services without any pride and deviation or envy or other distractions. So, and if I have said or did anything that displeased you, please forgive me for that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
I also wanted to share while they're getting ready. I was in the car with Prabhuji today for 6 hours. Now, many of you are learning scriptures and you're taking Bhakti Shastri courses. He's head of board of examination of ISKCON Education Ministry. And he was on the conference call with the board members. And I was just amazed. He was on a speakerphone and I was listening to the conversation. There were 7 members. They all were very senior to him in their age. But how he presented his points, his convincing arguments, I was begging him that I should shadow you every single time you have a conference call. There's like a tremendous amount of learning, the Bhagavatam coming alive in his Vakya, in his Vacha. I was very moved. So I really want to appreciate how you live, what you share with the world. Thank you so much.
Shri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namah Puruषोत्तम Prapti Yoga Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhvamulamadashvakam Ashvattam Prahuravyayam Chandhamsi yasya kanhani yasam veda saveda vidam adashodvam prashitam tasya shakam guna pravriddham jaya pravana adashamola santadani karmanubandhini manushaloke Narupamashyeha tatopalabhyate Anto na chadin na cha sampratishta Ashvattamenam suvirudha moolam Ashanga shastrena drudena chitva Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuya Tameva chadyam purusham prapadye Yatah pravrittih prasuta purani Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama Dvandve vimukta sukha dukha sannai Gacchantya mudha pradamavyayam tata Tatadbhasayate surya Shashanko na pavakah Yadgatva na nivartante Tadhama paramam mama Mamevansho jivaloke Jiva bhuta sanatana Manashashtani indriyani Prakritistani karshati Shariram yadavatnoti Yachapyutkramadishvaraha Grihidvaitani samyati Vayurgandhani vashayat Shrotram chakshushvarshanam cha Rasanasgranameva cha Adhishtaya manashayam Vishayam upasevare Yamantam stitam vapi Bhunjan vagunanvitam Vimodhananupashyanti Pashyanti jnana chakshusha Nitato yoginaschainam पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानः नैनं पश्यन्त्यचेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजः जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्छाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् आविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा उष्णामि चौषधी सर्वाः भूत्वा रसात्मकः परिणामेव निश्चितः पञ्चचायनं चतुर्विधं पश्चामि हृदि सन्निविष्टः तस्मिन्नपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यः वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेह चाहं त्वाभिमो पुरुषो लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते तमः पुरुषस्त्वयः परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्तव्य ईश्वरः तस्मादक्षरातीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतितः पुरुषः परः यो मामेवं जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वतिर्भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इदमुक्तं मया नघ बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे पुरुषोत्तमप्राप्तियोगो नाम पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः।
So we request our dear Amla Gopika Mataji to please come and cut the cake. This is her very auspicious birthday today. Mataji, please come. Huh?